topic: relationship between Fahrenheit scale and Celsius scale. That's what we want to look at now. Relationship between Fahrenheit and what scale and the what Celsius scale. We'll look at this. Look at the temperature, the thermometer of degree Celsius, and look at the thermometer calibrated in what Fahrenheit. This thermometer is calibrated in degrees Celsius, while this one is calibrated in Fahrenheit. Look at the boiling point, which is steam point, upper point of what? Degrees Celsius. And look at the lower points. Then this become, this C represent whatever I'm going to get whenever I use this thermometer to read a thing. If I use this thermometer calibrated in degrees centigrade and read a particular temperature, whatever I'm going to read from that thermometer represent what? C. Then coming to this is the Fahrenheit thermometer. When I use this thermometer to read something, whatever I'm getting from it as a value represent with what? F. Why this is a what? Upper fixed point, which we call steam point, and this one is lower fixed point, which we call melting point. And this upper fixed point is 2, 1, 2, while the lower fixed point is what? 3, 2. Then when I come to relationship between two of them, I want to say C minus 0 over what? 100 minus 0 equals to what? F minus 32 over what? 212 minus what? 32. Then I want to say this minus 0 will give me C, and 100 minus 0 will give me 100, and this minus 35 will give me this, and this minus this will give me what? 180. Then looking at this, I will now do cross multiplication. What do I mean by that? Cross multiplication. This will times everything here, and this will times what? 180. Then that will give me what? This times this will times everything here. I have to put it in bracket because this 100 is times everything up there, and this is times what? 180. Then I will now put this in bracket. Then this C, which is 180, leaving the C, we divide this, and that's what we have here. No need of removing this. I'll just take this to this and what? Close the bracket. And that's what we call what? Cross multiplication. Then coming to this, I have to what? Reduce it. If you leave it like this, is answer. But if you leave it the way I'm going to do it as well, is answer. Coming to this, I've said 0 cancels 0. Then I remain 10 here, remain 18 here. 2 goes into what? 10 will give me what? 5. 2 goes into 18 will give me 9. And that's the relationship between what? Degree centigrade and the Fahrenheit. And remember what I said, that this, represents what? This F represents what? The reading I'm going to get while I use Fahrenheit thermometer to what? Measure something. That reading represents this. So assuming that I use this Fahrenheit thermometer to measure something, I measure somebody temperature, and I find out that temperature is what? 50 Fahrenheit. This 50 now represents F. Then I will remove the F, put what? 50. Become 50 minus 32. Whatever it give me, multiply by 5, divide by 9, will give me in degrees centigrade. You remember that if I do that, what I'm going to get is what? Degrees centigrade. That means if I use this Fahrenheit thermometer to what? Read 50 Fahrenheit, 50 Fahrenheit, then if I substitute it here, because 50 minus 32 will give me 18. 18 times 5 divided by 9 will give me in degrees centigrade. Or making this man subject of formula, Fahrenheit subject of formula, become F equals to what? 9 times C, which is degrees centigrade, over 5 plus 32. That means if I use thermometer calibrated in degrees centigrade to measure a certain things, and I want to get the same value in a Fahrenheit, I will not take the value I got in degrees centigrade. Assuming that I measure it, I get what? 20 degrees centigrade. This 20 degrees centigrade represent what? C. So I will remove C, put what? 20 times 9 divided by 5 plus what? 32. And that it will give me that value in what? Fahrenheit. That means I have 20 in degrees centigrade. If I put it here, times 9 divided by 5 plus 32 will give me the value of this 20 degrees centigrade in Fahrenheit. The same thing here, if I read 50 as a Fahrenheit, putting it here, because 50 minus 32 times 5 divided by 9, he will give me the value of this 50 Fahrenheit in what degree centigrade. That's the relationship between what Fahrenheit and the what degree centigrade. So anytime the question is given, I have to recall this formula to substitute and get my answer. Let's go to question number 1. Question number 1. Convert the following Fahrenheit scale to Celsius scale value. Means convert the following Fahrenheit scale to Celsius scale value. Look at the question. 338 Fahrenheit, 80 Fahrenheit, minus 20 Fahrenheit. What does this mean? This means that Fahrenheit thermometer, we are used to measure some temperature. And what we find out in measuring, we find out after we measure, we check, we find out that the reading is what 38 for the first one. The reading is what 80 for the second one. The reading was minus what 20 Fahrenheit. Then what they ask me now is that maybe the person couldn't be able to interpret this in Fahrenheit, but he wanted to interpret it in what degree centigrade. That's why he said we should get the same this value in a word scale called what Celsius what scale, which is degree centigrade. We should get these values in the word degree centigrade. Then I have already compared, we have already done the relationship between what the degree centigrade or degree Celsius with what Fahrenheit thermometer. We have done that relationship, the equation that connects two of them, and we will find out that the equation is given as C degree centigrade equals to 5 into Fahrenheit value minus 32 over 9. That's what we have done in the subsequent class we did now. Then now, when I say what I'm going to do, this 38 represents, this F represents that 8 in the first question. This F now represents what? 38. I will remove the F from the formula in 38. Become 38 minus 32, give me what? 6. 6 times 5. Now listen to here. Give me 30, and 30 divided by 9, give me 3.3333. Then I will say, the degree centigrade equation, degree centigrade, approximately, this sign means what? Approximately 3.33 degrees. Just I leave it in 2 decimal places. This place is what? In 4 decimal places. Look at it. After these decimal places, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Meaning what? 4 decimal places. But I'm now approximately to what? Leave it in what? 2 decimal places. You can also leave in 1 decimal place. It depends on what they ask you. Then now, coming to the question number 2, I'm using the same equation, which said 5 into F minus what? 32 over what? 9. This F represents what? The value in Fahrenheit. And the value in Fahrenheit, come over here. The value in Fahrenheit is what? 80. So I will remove the what? Come here. I will remove this F and put what? 80. Have you seen it now? And become 80 minus 32 times 5 over 9. Then 80 minus 32 give me 48 times 5 divided by 9. Please give me this times 5 will give me 240 divided by 9, and that give me 26.6667. 666 repeats to the end 7. Then I would answer C, approximately 26.67 in 2 decimal places degree. That's my answer. Then I come to I. I'm using the same formula which says C equals to what? F5 into F minus 32 divided by 9. In this case, what they give me, the value is what? Minus 20 F. That means this F now represents what? Minus 20. Then I will remove this F, put what? Minus 20. Look over here. Minus what? 20. This minus in this equation, this minus in this formula is constant. Are you following me? This minus in this formula, note it now. This minus in this formula is constant. Y32 is constant. Y9 is constant. Y5 is constant. The only thing that changes here is what? F. Depends on what I read out. Note it. Understood? This 5 is constant. It cannot change. 32 cannot change. 9 cannot change. Minus, which is in this equation, cannot change. What changes is what? F. Depends on the value we read it at. Then coming over here, this F have changed to what? Minus what? 20. My minus remain where it is, minus what? 32. And that give me minus 20 means that I'm owing somebody what? 20. Minus 32 means I'm owing again 32. How much am I owing in total? That give me what? 52. This minus is telling me that I'm owing to 52 in total. I'm owing somebody 20. I'm owing another person 32. How much am I owing in total? 52. This is what I'm owing. That 52 minus 52 times what? 5 will give me minus 260. Divided by 9. What you see here is what? 9. Divided by what? 9. Then when he divided by 9, he gave me what? 28.8889. Then I'm going to say C, approximately minus 28.89 in 2 decimal places. And that's give me the answer. This minus 20 Fahrenheit in degrees centigrade is what? Minus 28.889 degree. So now see what I've already said, that the value you got in Fahrenheit can be, get equivalent of it in what? Degree centigrade. That's what we are trying to do here. We are getting the equivalent of these Fahrenheit values in a what? Degree centigrade. We are asked to get the equivalent of this man in degree centigrade. Equivalent of him is what? 3.33 degree. Equivalent of this man is what? 26.67. Equivalent of this man in degree centigrade is what? 28.89. So that's what we have now. Let's go to the question number 2 for more clarification. Convert the following Celsius scale to Fahrenheit scale. Convert the following Celsius scale to Fahrenheit scale. Look at the Celsius scale. I 3.333 degrees Celsius, then 26.666 degree, 0.667 degrees Celsius, then II minus 28.8889 degrees Celsius. This is what they say we should convert to Fahrenheit. What does it mean? It means that they use a thermometer calibrated in degrees Celsius and measure all these values. They measure all these values in a what? An experiment. And they want us to interpret these values in a what? Fahrenheit. That we should get the equivalent of these values in a Fahrenheit what? Thermometer. Assuming that we use Fahrenheit thermometer to read the same things. So the equivalent is what they ask us. So now you remember that we have already proved a relationship that connects the Fahrenheit and what? Degrees Celsius. I think when we do that we are forming a link, that equation that relates the Fahrenheit and degrees Celsius. And that equation is what we are using now. We say using the formula. What's the formula? F, which is Fahrenheit, equals to what? 9 times degrees centigrade or degrees Celsius over what? 5 plus 32. That means whatever I read in what degrees Celsius represents this C. Whatever that is I read with the degree centigrade what? Thermometer, this C represents that value. Then I come over here, the first question. F equals to 9 times what? C over 9 over 5 plus what? 32. In the question number 1, this is degree Celsius. That means this C represents this what? 3.3333 Celsius. So I will remove this C and put this 3.333. Look at it here. I have removed C and put what? Now it becomes what? 9 times 3.3333. Are you gonna say that? That's the value I get in what? Degrees Celsius. Then multiply by 9 divided by 5 plus what? 32. And that's what I did. Multiply by 9, it gave me this. Then plus 32. Then divide by 5. As I divide this by 5, I will get what? 5.9999. Then plus 32. Look at the plus 32. Adding this together, I have 37.9999. Then approximately, F is approximately that the Fahrenheit, the degree centigrade that's in the Fahrenheit is approximately what? 38 Fahrenheit. That means that 3.3333 degrees centigrade is equivalent to what? 38 in Fahrenheit. That's what I'm saying now. Is equivalent to what? 38 in what? Fahrenheit. Let's go to question number what? II. Question number II. Using the same formula, which is F equals to what? 9 times what? C over what? 5 plus what? 32. And what is the C in this case? C in this case is what? 26.6667. Yeah, you get what I'm saying? That 26.6667. That's what they give me in degrees centigrade. I remove this word C. Are you following me? I remove this C. Put what? 26.6667 times 9 divided by 5 plus 32. Then when I times this by 9, it gets me 240 over what? 5 plus what? 32. And 240 divided by 5 give me what? 48 plus 32. And that's 48 plus 32 give me what? 80 Fahrenheit. That means that what? Look at here. That means that what? 26.6667 degrees centigrade is the same, equivalent to what? 80 Fahrenheit. Equivalent to what? 80 Fahrenheit. And that's my what? Answer. Coming to question III. And the question now, using the same formula, we say F equals to what? 9 times C all over 5 plus 32. In this case, C is what? Minus 28.8889 degrees centigrade. I will remove this degree centigrade. Put what? Minus 28.8889 times what? 9 divided by 5. Then plus 32. When I multiply this by 9, I have minus 260 divided by what? 5. Are we there? Plus 32. And when you divide this, it gives me minus 52 plus 32. And that means I'm owing. This means minus 52 means I'm owing 52. And what? I have 32 in my pocket. Look at it. This minus means I'm owing 52. I'm owing 52. Then I have in my pocket, this plus means I have in my pocket 32. I pay 32. I'm still owing what? 20. When I pay 32 against 52, I'm still owing what? 20. And that's giving me minus 20 Fahrenheit as my what? Answer. And that's all about the question. Topic: relationship between Fahrenheit scale and Kelvin scale. Relationship between Fahrenheit scale and the Kelvin scale. So we are looking at the relationship that connects Fahrenheit and the what? Kelvin scale. Then, for looking at this relationship, the first thing we needed to know the upper fixed point and lower fixed point of each thermometer. If I want to use this thermometer now, the first thing I will ask, what's the range? What is the upper fixed point? What is the lower fixed point? That's steam point and the what? Melting point. Then I look at this. This is my what? Kelvin thermometer. Kelvin's thermometer has 373 as his what? Steam point, which is upper fixed point. Then 273 as what? Lower fixed point. Note it now. Kelvin thermometer has what? 373 as his upper fixed point, which is steam point. While having what? 273 as his what? Melting point, which is what? Ice point. Then this K represents anything that we are going to use this thermometer to read. If I read anything with this thermometer, the value I'm going to get represent this K. This K represents that value. Then coming to this one. This is what? Fahrenheit what? Scale. Thermometer, I mean to say. This is the Fahrenheit thermometer. And what is what? Steam point. Steam point is what? 212 Fahrenheit. And what? Ice point, which is lower fixed point, is what? 32 Fahrenheit. And this F represents whatever I'm going to read, the value of what, the value I'm going to get whenever I use this thermometer to read any particular temperature. The value I'm going to get, this F represents it. Then let us relate it. I will now say K minus what? 273. Look at K minus 273 over 373 minus 273 equal to F minus what? F minus 32. That is F minus 32 over 212 minus 32. Have you said it now? We start the journey. This minus this minus this will give me 100. Then this minus this is constant. I cannot change. Look at it. F minus this. They are not like that. Likewise, this one. Then this minus this will give me 180. Remember that this minus in this equation are constants. They cannot change. Well, let's see how it moves. Then here I do cross multiplication. You know what I mean by cross multiplication? This term will go and multiply everything here. And this particular bicep, this 180 will multiply it. That's what we call cross multiplication. This go like this and this go like this. That's what we call cross multiplication. This 180 will multiply this and this. Then this 100 will multiply this and this. That's what we mean by cross multiplication. And for that, I have to put this in brackets. Have you seen I put them in brackets? Why 180 is waiting to multiply all of them. Then I put this in brackets. Why 100 is waiting to multiply all of them. Then now, coming over here, I'm going to make this man subject of formula. Look at, I want to come here. I want to make this man subject of formula. I want this 180 to move from here. What will I do? I will say divide 2 by what? 180. Divide both this side and this side by 180. I want to remove this 180 here because I want to make this man subject of formula. I will now say divide 2. Divide this place by 180. Divide this place by 180. I didn't cheat anybody. This side was divided by 180. This side was divided by 180. That's if I divide this side by 180 now, this 180 will disappear. Here will remain divided by 180. And look over here. Come over here and see it properly. You see that here now we now have k minus what? 273. Then 180 divided this. Then I cannot say that what? 0 cancel 0. And the 2 goes here will give me 5. 2 goes here will give me what? 9. And then coming over here, after I have done this, what happened? This is minus 273. What is it going to do? I want to make this case subject of formula. This man now will cross over the other side. Taking this minus to cross over here. Look at this minus crossing over here. It becomes plus. Have you seen how it becomes plus? 273. That's it. This man crossing over here becomes what? Plus 273. Then I have made case subject of formula. Then I will start. This 0 cancel this 0. 2 divide this will give me 5. 2 divide this will give me 9. Plus this plus 273. Then that's the relationship. This thing now is the relationship between what? K and the what? Fahrenheit. That's the Kelvin and what? Fahrenheit. So if I did anything in Fahrenheit, I put it here, minus 32 times 5 divided by 9 plus 273. It will give me the value, equivalent value of it in the what? Kelvin. If I read the value which made me 20 in Fahrenheit, if I put that 20 here, minus what? 32 times 5 divided by 9 plus what? 273. It will give me the same that value, equivalent of it in what? Kelvin. Or making this F subject of formula from this equation, making F subject of formula, I will have that F is equal to 9 times what? Into K minus what? 273 divided by 5 plus what? 32. If I'm making this man subject of formula from this equation now, I'm making this man subject of formula, it will be 9 times what? K. Then this man will come over, become minus. Have you seen it? It becomes what? 9 times what? Into K minus what? 273 divided by 5 plus what? 32. That's when I have made this man F subject of formula. And this is equation connecting F and the what? Kelvin. So assuming that I read the value, which says is what? 30 in Kelvin. This said that maybe he said what? 300 Kelvin. What will I do? I will remove this K and put what? This 300 inside this place. Minus 273 times 9 divided by 2 by 5, I mean to say, the plus what? 32. It will give me equivalent of this 300 Kelvin in the what? Fahrenheit. This equivalent of 300 Kelvin will be given me in what? Fahrenheit when I have removed this and put what? 300. The same thing is what I've explained here. This is the relationship between Kelvin and the what? Fahrenheit, which we are going to be using to solve many questions as go. Let's go to question number what? 3.
Question number 3 says, convert the following Fahrenheit scale value to Kelvin scale value. Convert the following Fahrenheit scale value to Kelvin scale value. Look at I, 64 Fahrenheit and the II, 38 Fahrenheit. They want us to get the equivalent of this Fahrenheit in what? Kelvin. That's what the question is all about. We should get equivalent of this value in Kelvin
thermometer scale. That's Kelvin calibration thermometer what scale. Why this man was read with what? Fahrenheit what thermometer scale. So we say solution. Using the formula K, which is what? Kelvin, equals to what? 5 into Fahrenheit value minus what? 32. This minus is constant, divided by 9 plus 273. We have already proved the relationship between Kelvin and Fahrenheit. This is what we finish before coming to this what? Example. Therefore, we apply that what? Relationship immediately because we have it offhand. We pull it down here, and now this F in this question F, this 64, this F represents 64 in this case. I have to change this F and put what? 64. Become 5 into 64 minus 32 and over what? 9 plus 273. And this minus this times what? 5 will give me what? 160. This minus this times 5 will give me 160 divided by 9 plus 273, which is this. Then we'll come back. This 160 divided by 9 will give me 17.7778 plus 273. Then adding these two things together, I will have, come over here, I will have 290.7778. Then I will say K, this means approximately, that's approximately being what? 290.78. I'm putting it in a what? 2 decimal places. I have taken this man 7. This person is up to 5. I round it up to 1. I add it here, become what? 8. You remember? This man, I've taken it 7. This man following this person is up to 5. As far as it's up to 5, I round it up to call it 1. Add it to what? The 7 become what? 8. I have approximately putting this in what? 2 decimal places. Did you understand what I'm talking about? And that's give me what? My answer in Kelvin. Then I using the same formula, F5 into what? F minus 32 over 9 plus 27. In this case, F represents 38. This 38 is what? F. I am now remove F and put what? 38 because the question says I 38 what? F. This is the word Fahrenheit. Then I remove what? F, put what? 38. 38 minus 32 times what? 5 divided by what? 9 plus 273. And this gives me what? 30 divided by 9 plus what? 273. Because if I minus this, 30 by 5 will give me 30. This will give me 6. 6 times 5 will give me 30 divided by 9. Then when I divide this 30 by 9, I will have 3.3333. Are you going to say that? Plus 273. Then when I add 2 of them together, I will have 276.3333. Are you going to say that? 276.3333. That's what I'm going to have. Then I will say K approximately 276.333. Answer. Therefore, we see that I put it in 2 decimal places. This man is not up to what? 5. Therefore, I round it down to the what? 0. As far as this man here is not up to 5, I have taken 3, this 3. I'm now looking at this 3 to end it here. As I want to end it here, I look at this 3, which is the next. This next person, which is 3, is not up to 5. So I round it down to the what? 0. And I have 3, 3. That means 3, 3. That's what it means. But if this man is up to 5, I will round it up to the 1 and add it to 3. It will give me what? 4 here. But because it's not up to 5, I round it down to the what? 0. And I remove it. So that's all about it. That's what all about it. The next question will be what? Solving past questions on this. We have seen the many relationships. So you have to study them, put them in your brain and revise them. Go to what? The next thing now you go to what? Class 3. Because this is a class 2. We have finished class 2. We are entering to what? Class 3. Then from class 3 we get to class 4. From class 4 we get to class 5. Please follow us by class for you to understand this. If you don't follow us by class, maybe you jump to class 3, you will not understand what we are doing because class 3 is built on top of what? Class 2. And class 2 is built on top of what? Class 1. And the class 4 is built on top of class 3. And class 5 is built on top of what? Class what? what 4. So if you don't follow up from class 1 to up to that place, you may not understand what we are doing. Therefore, the same thing in mechanics, the same thing in electronic logic, the same thing in maths 101. You follow us from class to class. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for liking it and sharing it. See you in class 3.